I'm gearing it at young travellers so that they'll be able to stand back and take a look at themselves and actually ask themselves, what is she talking about? Look around them and find what I'm talking about, because it still exists, and help themselves and share any knowledge they have of their history with each other. Don't leave it die. And one way of sharing it is through writing it. I was born in Nenagh Hospital, so I'm a Tipperary woman. We were on the roads until the year 1967, and then we were told that we couldn't travel no more. My parents were getting problems from social workers and from police about children going to school. So we were housed in North Tipperary in a little village called Cloughjordan. As time went by within that little village though, we started to integrate quite well with the people, and the kids, everything seemed to have settled down. But when I look back on it now, it wasn't that at all. It was that we were getting conditioned into the settled way of living and losing our own tradition and our own heritage. The only time that we would actually admit to us being travellers is within our own family home. When we go to the end of a lane, we lived up a lane, we would automatically become this other person called settled. And when we go up that lane, then you would go back to traveller. So we got very confused as we grew up. My journey with Tipperary ETB has been a very positive one. I had a lot written for years and years, but I just writing it, and I wasn't thinking a lot of it. But I did know one thing: it was therapeutic for me to do so. When I get angry or I get sad or I feel a certain emotion and my head would trigger something, and I go and I'd write on that, and then I started writing in rhythm and rhyme, and all of a sudden this poetry started to flow from me. I sort of kept at it then, and I said maybe it could be there for my child or for somebody to read when I'm gone. My stuff was around, and then I said to her, Marion, I'm writing this, but I'm writing this, just to get things out of my system. And she says, that's good. You're not going to do anything about that. And I said, I don't know, Marion, what do you think? Look, she says, I'm up in the centre up there at the presbytery every week on a Wednesday. Would you not come up for an hour? We sit down, we talk about it, and we write it out, and we print it out, we type it out. And from there, it took off to me, Marion Brown, and then I got in contact with a lovely woman, Fiona Bulger, a poet, and she was my mentor. So I've learned so much on poetry, about poetry, and how to write poetry.
We're just so extremely proud of her, and it's just, we've had Helen working with us for the last couple of years, but this has been going on, like as someone said today, 40 years of writing. We just happened to arrive in the last couple of years when Helen came to us looking for support. And we just set up that network of support for her then, just to help her to pull everything together and just get it all into one place. And I suppose that's the most important thing, that Helen asked for help. That's what Tipperary is all about, Tipperary ETB is all about. When you ask for help, we'll do our best to support you in whatever support you need. So we just set up one-to-one classes initially with Helen. And then after a while we helped Helen to introduce into a class setting as well. And then we got Helen involved with Fiona Bulger then as well, who helped us to kind of take it to the next step.
I think the book is amazing for everybody in Irish society, not just travellers, but I think it's very important that travellers capture their own history, their own life and their own presence. And I think it can only bring education to settled people, because I don't think any settled person consciously goes out to hurt any individual. I think it's done unconsciously, and I think if people are educated in a way, and if it's done through poetry, that's amazing, and I think it will make a difference to Irish society, and I hope that it will bring about real change for us, because I think the young kids particularly deserve it.
It's a way to express me as a person. It's a way for me to voice my opinion upon travelling people in general, in how they're treated and what society is doing to them, and the wrongs and the rights of life.